Estamos no início de julho de 2019. No noroeste da Irlanda, as praias de Falkirk convidam um sossego bucólico. Mas por trás da aparente pacatez, a pequena cidade irlandesa escondeu durante anos uma dura realidade.
Our lives are not as normal as other people that haven't been abused. The abuse has just changed their attitude to life, changed their attitude to people. But as abuse victim myself, I'm glad that it's all out in the open now, that everybody knows, the whole world knows. And the Catholic Church knows, and they knew all the time, but they can't deny now that they do know, which they have done throughout years and years and years of their silence. And instead of taking action when they knew the abuse was taking place, they could have saved lives upon lives, and the torture for families and children, and just their silence just has ruined more lives that you could think of.
Il fallimento delle autorità ecclesiastiche, vescovi, superiori religiosi, sacerdoti e altri nell'affrontare adeguatamente questi crimini repugnanti ha giustamente suscitato indignazione e rimane causa di sofferenza e di vergogna per la comunità cattolica.
He said he is keeping bishops accountable, he is removing bishops, but I said to him that he may have removed some, but they're being allowed to resign and walk away, so nobody knows that they have been guilty of anything.
You know, you only have to do a few Google searches to see loads of examples of popes and bishops saying, we didn't know. Like the rest of society, we didn't even understand such things were possible. They did, they lied.
Dublin, agosto de 2018. Pela primeira vez, o Papa Francisco pede desculpa publicamente pelas atrocidades cometidas por padres da Igreja Católica Irlandesa. A Irlanda é o quinto país da Europa com o maior número de católicos. A Igreja está enraizada na cultura do país, mas também nos lugares de poder. Historicamente, a religião tem estado na base das escolhas políticas dos irlandeses. No entanto, desde 2002, vários relatórios e investigações evidenciaram mais de 15 mil casos de abuso sexual cometidos entre as décadas de 1960 e 90. Os abusos cometidos por membros do clero não são recentes. No entanto, as desculpas do Papa Francisco só chegaram em 2018. Demasiado tarde para alguns. Após as centenas de suicídios que se seguiram aos abusos, as vítimas que de alguma forma conseguiram lidar com a situação ficaram conhecidas como os sobreviventes. Martin Gallagher é um deles. Aos 12 anos, foi abusado sexualmente por Eugene Green, um pároco em Donegal, no noroeste da Irlanda. Ao seu lado está Martin Rich, antigo inspetor da polícia e o primeiro a ouvir a história de Martin.
When we were younger and abused, there was nobody to talk to that we could trust. The priests we couldn't go near. They would laugh at us and call us liars. We couldn't tell our parents because they would have to go to the priest and he'd do the same thing to them. We couldn't tell the guards because the guards and the priests and teachers were all big buddies and they stuck together, so we were alone. Martin here came along and started to investigate Eugene Green, and that opened up a big page in our life because it released a lot of pressure, anxiety, depression, all those bad feelings we were building up for years. So just by talking to Martin the first day, that lifted a big load from my shoulders that somebody was going to help me in the end.
Em 2018, Martin Ridge publicou Breaking the Silence, em português, Quebrando o Silêncio, um livro que conta a investigação a Eugene Green e as queixas de abusos cometidos entre as décadas de 1960 e 90. O autor acusa a Igreja Católica de ter optado por não fazer nada para impedir todos esses anos de abusos, apesar das múltiplas queixas apresentadas contra o padre.
I was glad I was there for them because they educated me too, and they're educating society. Because those people are experts because they know what they're talking about, you see. So again, Martin doesn't need my platitudes, but I'm so grateful, and so is the public, for the likes of Martin, like, you know, and thank God he's getting his own life back on track, you know, and it's not easy. We all have bad days, you know, and it can come back and grab us with fear and contempt and everything, but we have to be careful too, because anger can be self-destructive as well, though. Maybe it's good to hold on to some of it too, to realise what's going on, you know. I would like to say thank you, Martin, again and again and again.
A história de Martin não é um caso isolado. Na Irlanda, as alegações de abuso sexual dizem respeito a quase 14.500 crianças e são relativas a crimes cometidos ao longo de décadas. O país é um dos mais afetados na Europa por este fenómeno, em comparação a França, Alemanha e Bélgica, onde várias centenas de queixas foram apresentadas desde 2010. A maioria das acusações foi registada em Dublin, a maior diocese da Irlanda. Entre 1975 e 2004, 12 padres foram responsáveis por 2/3 das queixas apresentadas na capital. Para combater o fenómeno, a diocese criou em 2002 o Serviço de Proteção de Menores, juntamente com uma agência dirigida pelo Estado. Andrew Fagan é o diretor e coordenador desse organismo desde 2010.
When it became known that, priests had behaved in an abusive way towards children, that was understood as a problem for the priest, not as a problem for the child or for other children. And for a long time, and it's not as if the diocesan authorities didn't do anything about those situations. They did do things, but they were all about trying to fix up the priest and send him back. And they were not child-centred. They did not prioritise the safety of children. Even though lots of things have changed, I'm not sure that perception has changed. I think that a lot of people still think it's a bit risky to allow your children to be involved in church activities. So I would say that there are a lot of parents who have made a decision to distance themselves from the church.
Frank Reburn é padre na paróquia de Glasnevin, situada no norte da capital. Como todos os padres na Irlanda, fez um teste psicológico antes de iniciar o trabalho na paróquia, além de pôr em prática as diretivas da diocese sobre a proteção das crianças.
If I'm meeting with parents and we're preparing their children for the sacrament, say for confirmation or for communion, we will explain to the parents that we have a child safeguarding policy in action here in our parish. No adult is alone with a child. Especially here in our own parish, in our sacristy, no adult is alone. That if children are on the premises, we make sure that they're under the care of those who have been Garda vetted and those who have completed the training course. Also, if you have any visiting priests, if you have anybody coming into our sacristy, they are obliged to sign in. And we also, we would ask parents, we'd ask guardians of children not to let their child go to the toilet on their own, that they stay there, that they stay in the public area, just making sure that their child is okay. It's been a horrible chapter in the history of the church and in our lives. So it's a really horrible chapter. So I would be hugely passionate, and I would do anything that I possibly could to make sure no child is hurt in this church.
O arrependimento da Igreja deve-se também a outras graves revelações. Como a Darren McGavin, de 48 anos, sobrevivente de abuso sexual. O seu agressor, Tony Walsh, encontra-se atualmente na prisão por ter violado mais de 200 crianças em Ballyfermot, o subúrbio onde Darren cresceu, no seio de uma família violenta.
At the age of 7, when I went to that school, he became the parish priest. So he was adorned. He was also an impersonator of Elvis Presley. So he was in a thing called the All Priest Show, and they went around the country in halls and clubs. They got paid. So everyone thought, isn't he brilliant? Isn't he great? How amazing is he? And then when he talks on the pulpit about his Lord Jesus Christ, Jesus is my friend. I'm going to save you. He went home and told me parents. So the dirty secret was out. I now know you're beating that child and your wife. So now both my parents, which were adults, were vulnerable to the priest and in his pocket, because he knows their dirty secret. So the priest suggested that I take your son out of this environment because you've damaged him. He's acting out and you're beating him more and you don't know how to deal with him. If he comes with me, I can teach him love, and he can serve morning masses, and we'll bring him to lovely places. Take a bit of pressure off you. To somebody, a mother of 5 children, they were all going mad, and the husband was very rarely there, and when he was beating the shit out of her. That was brilliant. My child is safe. What if I was to tell you that a young boy was tied up over a coffee table, bound by his hands to his ankles, and noticed a candle burning, a thin one, but just thought it was a clerical candle. And while I was told that I'd burn in hell for all eternity, I was raped with the burning candle.
Foi aos 12 anos, enquanto assistia a documentário sobre pedofilia, que Darren se apercebeu de que a relação com o padre da paróquia não era normal. A partir desse dia, começou a ver uma pedopsiquiatra com apenas um receio: o de que o juiz não acreditasse no seu testemunho durante o julgamento.
The lady gave me the doll and says to me, "Can you show me what happened?" And I said, "You want me to stick me cock and me penis inside the doll in front of you?" And she said, "What?" I said, "But you told me to show you. So you want me to, like, rip the doll and ride the doll?" She goes, "No, just show me." I said, "I don't understand." I said, "I'd have to do it." I said, "But you said it was wrong. So why do you want me to do something that's wrong? I don't understand that." So they were like, "That kind of makes sense. We didn't come across that before." So I said, "How about just asking me what happened?" So when I was asking, I had to keep asking them and taking the tissues at 12 and saying, "Are you okay?" Because I had traumatised them. To me, it was okay, because I was used to it.
Hoje, enquanto terapeuta, Darren é capaz de ajudar outras vítimas de abuso, sendo ele próprio um sobrevivente de 5 tentativas de suicídio. Faz parte dos 10% das vítimas que apresentaram o seu caso às autoridades. Em 2014, o jornal italiano República revelava que o Papa Francisco assinalou entre o clero 2% de padres pedófilos, incluindo bispos e cardeais. Contudo, na investigação conduzida pelo Spotlight, um periódico de Boston, Richard Sipe, psiquiatra e padre reformado, estimou que o número era mais elevado, 6%. De acordo com o antigo clérigo, um pedófilo dentro da igreja abusa de 250 vítimas ao longo da vida. Isto, defende Sipe, no caso da Irlanda, representa 280 padres pedófilos para 70 mil vítimas. Em todo o continente europeu, cerca de 11.200 padres podem ter violado mais de 2.800.000 pessoas. Os números terão levado a Igreja a encobrir os abusos.
The way that the church conducted itself and the hypocrisy and the corruption at the heart of the church was revealed, and that led to people in Ireland rejecting the moral authority of the church. It led to an end of the political dominance of the Catholic Church here in Ireland. You know, for decades, the Vatican called us liars. You know, they said we were telling lies, that we were fantasists, that this was an anti-Catholic agenda, that there was no cover-up. So now the Pope says there was a cover-up and we're meant to think he's great for acknowledging the truth? That's the minimum.
Também Mary Collins é uma sobrevivente. Muito ativa na prevenção de abusos e pornografia infantil na internet, foi um dos símbolos da Comissão para a Proteção de Menores, criada em 2014 pelo Papa Francisco, para lutar contra o abuso sexual. Demitiu-se em 2017, cansada da resistência do Vaticano.
The commission was experts outside the church, child protection experts from every area, brought together to advise the Pope, to bring expertise into the church from outside. And I went along with it because if the church was sincere in wanting to change, I thought that I should work to help. But I found after a couple of years that there was so much resistance in the Vatican to change. They were undermining the work of the Commission, they were resisting the work of the Commission, and really we were making recommendations, the Pope was approving them, and they were not being implemented, so it was a waste of time. The Curia, the civil service, the Pope's civil service, they saw us on the Commission as people coming in from the outside and interfering. The importance of child protection was ignored, really. It was more politics.
A recente decisão tomada pelo Papa Francisco de levantar o segredo pontifício sobre a pedofilia mostra um desejo de transparência dentro do Vaticano. Agora, as queixas e testemunhos relativos a abusos sexuais nos arquivos da Santa Sé podem ser apresentadas às autoridades civis. A Igreja é obrigada a responder às expectativas da sociedade. Em 2015, os irlandeses aprovaram em referendo o casamento homossexual. Já em 2018, o país revogou a 8ª emenda da Constituição para permitir o direito ao aborto. Quase 80% da população irlandesa é católica, mas estas são as mesmas pessoas que votaram a favor das duas reformas, apesar de se oporem às diretivas da Igreja. Os números realçam um paradoxo. A sociedade irlandesa permanece culturalmente católica, mas está a afastar-se da Igreja enquanto instituição. A tendência pode ser observada em toda a Europa, o único continente onde a população católica diminuiu antes de começar a estagnar. Após 20 anos, a Irlanda tenta sarar as feridas e melhorar a segurança das crianças, muitas vezes sem a cooperação da Igreja. Uma lição importante, tendo em conta que outros países, como a Austrália, França, Polónia e Estados Unidos, estão apenas na fase da revelação, em que as vítimas de abuso sexual no seio da Igreja só agora começam a ser ouvidas. Todas estas vozes provam a extensão do fenómeno e aquela que tem sido a resposta recorrente da Igreja, o silêncio ou mesmo a cumplicidade, como provam as recentes revelações do caso McCarrick, um arcebispo americano promovido por João Paulo II, apesar de consciente das acusações de abuso sexual que pendiam sobre o clérigo. Só anos mais tarde, em 2018, é que McCarrick viria a ser demitido. As vítimas recorreram às instituições públicas para serem ouvidas.
On keeping my own faith, yes, I've kept my own faith, and my beliefs, but the institution of the church does not mean that much to me now. The institutional church I've lost all trust in it. I still have a relationship with God, and I will still pray, and I still consider myself a Catholic.
It's a great question. Do I have faith? I don't have religious faith, but I have, I suppose, an even greater faith in humanity, in goodness, in life, in healing. An even greater faith in something that I know to be true, and that is that no matter how awful the harm done, no matter how awful the offence caused, that if we're prepared to own it, to face it with courage and with truth and with compassion and with love and with a commitment to moving forward, then healing and recovery and progress isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And that this I know, this I have unshakable faith in.
It's the living in silence which is the most awful thing, and for so many victims it's been too much and they've taken their own lives, as we know. So we have to think about the countries where this is still happening and think of the children there.